to people? Well, that sucks. All right, hello and good afternoon. Sorry for those technical difficulties just a few minutes ago. Hopefully, they have been resolved. All right, hello and good afternoon. All right, seems like it was. All right. Yep. All right, can you post in the thing? Perfect. Hopefully that will reset people and they will come back on. So odd that that happened. Give people a couple of seconds to get back on. All right, get things started in just a second. Want to make sure that everyone is back on. Hello and good afternoon. I hope that you are doing absolutely wonderful on this beautiful morning, afternoon, or whatever type of day it is for you, wherever you are and whatever you are watching. My name is Zack Miller, and I'm so stoked to be with you today. And today, we are going to talk about finding your first and next customers with very little budget. Now, why do I believe in this kind of mindset? Well, I don't like to really spend a lot of money, so why should you if you don't have to? So think of it like this. Would you spend $1 million if you only had to spend 10 to get the same result? Probably not. So why would you try? All right. So if you guys are watching online right now, I want to hear from you in the comments. Simply tell me below in the comments that you're here and what you are working on. Who's here? I want to hear from you guys. So just got a text from Chip Dodd. I know Chip's here. Chip, say hello. This is me here. The whole thing that we're going to be talking about today also has to do with this mindset right here. You'll love the text that I have on this whiteboard. I am an amazing artist. I'm not, but you control your future. Believe that every second of the day. All right, so we're going to dive right back into this. If you guys are just now tuning in, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Zack Miller. I will be your host, your co-anchor, your friend, your savior, whatever you guys want to call me. I'll be here for the next few minutes, and I'm so thankful for you guys being here as well and taking a couple of minutes out of your day. All right, so finding your first and next customers with no budget. Now I know what you're thinking. Who is this clown, and why should I be listening to him? But first, today, let's think about who you are. You're likely starting or growing a business. You're on a shoestring budget. You're unsure of where to start. You're interested in what tools exist to help you in the stage, and you're not trying to spend a lot of money. Now, remember this, even if you have a lot of money to spend, should you really be spending it? Should you really be spending money that you don't have to just because you can? I'm of the opinion, no. Why spend $1 million on something if you can get the exact same result for $100,000 or $10,000 or, to be honest, $10? And so what you'll see today is a lot of these things are creative and fun ways to get your message across to a ton of people. So who am I? If You've heard me say this before. No, I'm not PD Pablo. No, I'm not in North Carolina. You guys remember the song from the early 2000s? That's not who I am. I'm the enthusiastic founder of Hatch. That's me there, taken at a different time. I'm the host of a business TV show, Hampton Roads Business Weekly. It's a weekly business show where I get to interview the best and the brightest business minds in the southeastern Virginia region, and that's a total fun. It's just it's a ton of fun. Then also, I am a recognized influencer of the startup community, not just locally, but all across the country as well. Top left picture, myself, inside business, the power list of the 75 most powerful, influential people in southeastern Virginia. This was last year's edition. Here's a little known secret. I was the youngest person to ever receive this honor. That was in 2015. And just so you guys know, I got it for the second year too. They just haven't announced it yet. I'm super stoked about this. 2-time, and hopefully still the youngest on the power list. Top right, the Chamber of Commerce named my company Hatch as a top 10 to watch. Bottom right, I was given an award. And then also, I've been on the TED stage. Many of you guys have followed along the TED stage as well. Entrepreneur Magazine, maybe the greatest entrepreneur magazine out there, has named myself and the city that I reside in and have a business in, Norfolk, Virginia, as a great place to be business. And as you'll see, Sean Reeser here says, because of people like Zack Miller, Norfolk came out of nowhere. And I've gone to the White House to talk about not only the startup community here, but the things that I have done to help grow an area that was not known for business, southeastern Virginia. And in Virginia, Governor Terry McAuliffe has named me to the Governor's Council on Youth Entrepreneurship. And this is something that is near and dear to me. I'm always told no, just like many of you. I'm always told that I am the underdog. And you know what? It's great, because I love being told no, because I'm tenacious and I can come through and win. And this isn't my dog, but maybe you'll see my dog Ashbrook. Maybe you'll hear him a little later. He likes to bark. But we're here in Hatch right now, and I am so thankful for you guys to be here. And today, remember what you're going to learn. You're going to learn what tools you can be using right now to grow your business, how I turn a sales meeting into a networking opportunity with 100,000 eyeballs on me, the common misconceptions about tools you don't actually need to be using, how to network like a boss, and case studies of companies who implemented all these strategies. How do we know? Because we've done it. We have over 5 years of experience working with thousands of different companies. Everything we talk about are things that we've actually done. They're not just things that we read about. Not only have I been in your shoes, but I've been in your shoes as early as I don't know, right now. And so we're constantly doing the same things that you're doing, and we're just sharing some of our experiences with you. All right, so want to hear from you. All you have to do is go to the comments below and just say hello. Just say that, hi, I'm Chip Dodd. I'm with Sports Services of Virginia, and this is great. Or hey, I'm Dave, and I'm here too. And so, but thank you guys so much for being here. It means a lot. But just say hello. Would love to hear from you. You ready to get started? I want to see you guys jump up and down. Who's here with me? Who's here with me? Let's hear from you. All right. In 27 minutes, how I turned a sales meeting into a networking opportunity with 100,000 eyeballs. But first, what can you do right now? I want you guys to take an inventory of your life. I'm going to go back to the live in here so that you guys can see how I feel on this. I want you guys to take an inventory of your life. Now, think of it like this. So I'm 32 years old. I have had 32 years of experience with different people. I think a lot of times in business, people try and go after the really big whales, the big fish, instead of actually going after the low-hanging fruit. And I think a lot of the things that you'll see today are low-hanging fruit. And so you've created relationships with people over the years. You might be 18, you might be 32, you might be 50, you might be 100. It doesn't matter. You've created relationships with these people over the years. And I think the key is to reacquaint yourself with those people. Now think of this premise. When acquiring a new customer, it costs a certain amount of money. When you have a customer, it is a significant less amount of money to keep that client than it is to acquire a new client. So if that's the premise on this as well, which it is, think of that this. You already have people in your life that you have established a relationship with. Why would you not try and figure out who of those people you can actually continue to do business or life with? Why would you try and meet someone new when you already have this low-hanging fruit of people that are already there? Makes sense, right? All right, so now we're going to go through a series of different, now we're going to go through a series of different, now we're going to go through a series of different social posts that you guys can go through to leverage in your day-to-days. LinkedIn. Here's my profile just a couple of days ago. As you guys have seen before, this is how LinkedIn works. I'm pretty sure that you know how that goes. Now, simply go to the search category at the top, as you can see right here, the search right here, and simply see who you're connected with. Now, let's say your competitor is someone like a founder of a company. I want you to search that keyword. In our case, founders are a keyword. We typically work with founders of companies, so we're looking for them. Now, let's see who in my network is actually a founder of something. Well, here's some of the people that are there. Either I'm connected with them or not, but I can start creating a relationship with these people because I already have ties to them, or someone else has ties to them as well. Remember, taking your inventory. Now, I can take this information and I can create ongoing and more relationships with these people to try and communicate with them. Here's a great example of me communicating with someone, just having a one-to-one message with them. And so I educate them. Now let's move on to Facebook groups. Here's a group that is a closed group, which means you can join, but it's not exclusive. This is the Designers League. Now in this, I'm looking for freelance, and here is a comment that someone wrote. I want to start having conversations with people in these forums. Think of the Facebook group as a forum. It's nothing more than that. It's just a curated forum, which is absolutely wonderful. So as you can see, this person is speaking about something in the design world. You can come in and be an authority, or you can come in and start communicating with people and having relations with them so that they can start looking at you and you can create a relationship with them. People are already doing this, so why don't you jump on as well and create relationships with these people because they're already in your networks. Remember, take an inventory of what you have. These people are already in your networks. Another way to do this is through Twitter. Again, this is your typical Twitter look. Top right, you'll see the search term marketing. So what I want you guys to do is go through the term marketing. And what you'll do here is you'll start seeing other people talking. As you'll see, the hashtag there is marketing. This is the exact same thing as you just saw on LinkedIn and in Facebook groups. It's people having conversations or people communicating that are looking for this type of information. You come in and give them the answers that they're looking for. Another really fun way to do this is through chats, Twitter chats. It's a way for a lot of people all at once during a small duration of time to come together to answer and communicate on specific topics. You'll see here one here. This is the results for blog chat. People are talking. You can come in and communicate with these people, and then afterwards go in and have one-to-one conversations with people through direct messages or another one-to-one online medium. One of my favorite things to do is I don't like to make assumptions. I like to know what other people are looking for. So I ask. Here's a great example from this year. If there was one thing that I wanted to know about the local startup community, what would it be? If there was one thing that you wanted to know in the local startup community, What would it be? Well, in this case, I'm getting a ton of different information from people, and so I can start having relationships with them or ongoing communication with them to create that relationship and make it stronger. And in each of these cases, whether you see it or not, I go in and have specific conversations one-to-one with these people. Who are the community builders and leaders for various industries? AJ Comfort says. I would go in and I'm going to communicate with that. Someone says, Kathy Young says, is there a mentoring mastermind community? Abby says, a list of survival tips for the up-and-coming entrepreneurs. This is just right now, it's 3 things that I know that people are looking for because they're giving me that information. Then I go in, very similar, have one-to-one conversations, one with Stanley, one with Neely. And all I do is have conversations with these people. You heard about business cards. Some people love business cards, but I'm sure you have stacks of business cards somewhere. Well, I want you to pull out that stack of business cards and I want you to create a couple of buckets. 1 hot leads, 1 cold leads. 1 that's going to be my customer, 1 that likely will never become my customer. And all you have to do is keep them both, but 1 is far more important than the other right now. Remember, everything that we're talking about is things that you can do right now. And then so basically what you're going to do is you're going to reach out to the hot leads and you're going to communicate with them, and you're going to keep the cold leads into a different bucket. And so we're focusing on the things that you can work on right now. Do you have a question so far? All you have to do is ask in the discussion. If you have a question right now, you can do that. Or I guess you could email me at Zack, Z-A-C-K, at startwithhatch.com. If you have a question right now, simply ask. Otherwise, we will continue down this journey. Are you ready? Networking meetings. How many of you guys actually enjoy going to a networking meeting? Some of you do. Some of you don't. We got a small crowd in the house today. Andrew, do you like going to networking meetings? He's got a mouthful of Jimmy John's right now, but I can tell you what he said. He gave me the no shake face. Why? Because some people just don't like to do that. Maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you don't like to go out. Maybe you just are shy. Maybe you don't like to do those things. That's okay. But what if I told you there is a strategy that you can go and use to make your networking better and better each and every time? It's all about prep work. You know, when you're in the kitchen, you're doing prep work to get to the cooking. And the cooking, you're going to do the last thing. So this is all prep work. Simply head on over to meetup.com. That's meetup.com, as you see here. See who's actually going to attend the event that you're looking at going. And as you can see, it's on the right side right here. So you would click one of those people. This pulls up their profile. And then you have a one-to-one message with them here. You see how easy this is? You simply just find out who's going, what they're into, and then have a conversation with them. Now, I know what you're thinking. What kind of conversation can I have with this person? Hey, Jason Neff, or hey, Jason, I see that you're going to this meetup next week. I am too. I look forward to seeing you there. Sincerely, Zach. That is a very bland and boring post, but it's very effective. And it's a strategy that you can use. You can spice it up to use the words that you use on a daily basis so that when you go to an event like this, and I know you've been there, where it's guy central like this is here, you have an opportunity to actually know your strategy so that when you go to a networking event, you meet 3 to 5 people instead of meeting 1 person. And so then, again, you are creating relationships with these people so that you can have one-to-one scenarios with them, whether it's one-to-one direct messages, one-to-one emails, one-to-one conversations in person or on the phone. That text, that is what is important. Now, when you're having these conversations with people, both online and in person, the key is really, really, really simple. You got to listen. Maybe you're the kid with big ears, but you got to listen. You remember the Hulkster, oh yeah, brother. The peanut gallery is listening. They're ready. If you could see me, do you guys want to see this? We're going to do a little Hulk Hogan right now. Let me just do this. Can you hear me? That's the Hulkster. There's a belt in the back. Maybe we'll see it a little bit later. But it's all about the gun show. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have guns. But I thought you guys might want to see that. But no, you don't, because you don't think it's funny. That's what my fiance says. All right, so the Hulkster, right? The Hulkster is here. What does he do? He's listening. He's listening to the crowd. You need to listen to the crowd. What are they saying? You know, there's, I don't know if there's any more pictures of dogs in here, but this is a dog. 2 pictures, big ears. What is he doing? He's listening. Listen, listen, listen. What do you ask them? Or what you know, you want to find out what's keeping them up at night. You know, is it the business? Is it a pain point? Can you hear what it is? Do you have an answer for them? Hopefully it's not marriage. Maybe it's like these two. They could be having a bad marriage. But it's all about learning about what people's pain points are, because the more you learn about them, the more that you can go above and beyond to give them their answer. And as we talked about earlier, if you guys have a question, all you have to do is simply ask away. Would love to hear from it. How many of you have ever heard of the resource called Quora? That's Quora. Quora. Have you heard of it? Well, Quora is an online forum that allows people to communicate with each other in a very conversational way. As you'll see here, this is just basically the main page. And what comes up is just kind of like a social network or an online forum. And so what you would do is you will ask or search a specific question. And here, you know, so we work with a lot of startups. It could be marketing. It could be how do I, it could be things on graphic design. It could be things on bike riding. You know, how much does this celebrity make? You can ask a ton of questions. And the great thing is it's sourced by people typically who have done it themselves. And you get answers here. While doing this, you can figure out what big pain points people are having. And then you can come in the exact same way as before and create relationships with them. Maybe you built a tool about Dropbox and you want people to see it. Well, these people are talking about it, and you can come in and create relationships with these people, find Mike Wolf, and have a conversation with him. Now, Reddit is very similar to Quora, and what I like about Reddit is that it's ongoing, very much like Quora, but it's very much time sensitive. So if something's going on right now, that feed goes, it's really important for this time. And so you can go in here and have similar conversations. This person's talking about sales. Having trouble with sales, not sure how to start a sales team. Here's someone giving information. Now, as you would see if you click the comments, that person, you can come in and give them an answer. You're helping this person. Help before you ask for it. Help before you get help, right? So help out as much as you can. All right, we want to hear from you. There's a file right now. If you guys are watching, just tell us what you think. Was this useful? Was this part right here important? You're going to see a link going in right now. We just want to know who's here and what's important for you. How did I turn a sales meeting into a networking opportunity with 100,000 eyeballs on me? Now, I know Chip's watching. Chip, I don't know that you know this story of how the actual TV show came about, but we at Hatch work with a ton of different companies, and one of the companies is called Tunnel Traffic. They have an application that in Southeast North Virginia tracks how much traffic is going on in the tunnels at any given time. This is it right here, as you'll see. And so it basically, in a fun kind of way, tells you is there traffic or not. I've done this webinar a couple of times, and there's never been traffic, and finally there is. All right, the top westbound, 11 miles an hour, HRBT. If you guys are doing that, don't go that way. So basically, it's telling you what to do. And so this app is being used by a TV station, and it's about 16 months ago, and Jeremy, he's the founder of the company, says, hey, I'm interested in getting maybe exclusive rights to them, or maybe they want to buy the app, would love to figure out a way to set up a meeting. I have a relationship with the TV station, and basically just said, well, let me talk to them and see what will happen. So we set up a meeting, and it's about 100 yards that way at a diner in downtown Norfolk. And what's really interesting is that we set up the meeting, we try and sell the company. She, Carrie Jacobs, who is the president of the company, says, you know, I don't think this is a good fit for us. But I want to tell you guys about something else that we're working on. We're thinking about creating a weekly business show, and we want to highlight businesses, showcase businesses, educate businesses, and we're looking for a host. Do you know who it could be? And in a split second, I sit there and I go, what can I do? You know, who could this be? And I sit there and I don't know, you know, what's the pay going to be? How many hours is it going to be? What? I don't know anything. But I know that I'm given this opportunity and that I need to raise my hand. And so in that situation, I raised my hand. And had I not raised my hand, I could have been missing out on an opportunity that now is generating 100,000 eyeballs on myself and my business each and every month. And so I think oftentimes we're given these opportunities. Oftentimes we seek opportunities and don't do anything with it. And they come to us and we don't know what to do. So I recommend raising your hand more often than not, but then really understanding what you're getting into at a later time. I could have always said no. I could still say no today, but it's really important to raise your hand. Just because you don't know the path isn't like that and actually goes like this, that's okay. The key is to really understand what can you control today, and what I could control is raising my hand and saying, I want this, and then going in and following up over and over and over again. The story that we don't talk about a lot is the follow-up that it took to get here. It took a series of times for me to follow up with Carrie to say, hey, I think I can do this. Just give me a chance. And you know what? I did get the chance, but it's because I raised my hand. And I found out later on that it was really controversial for them to give me a chance, but I proved them that I was the best fit. Raise your hand and ask for the opportunity and make it happen each and every single time. In a couple more minutes, I will teach you how to network like a boss. But first, the tools that you don't need to get your next client. Now, people talk about spending a ton of money, but really it's about picking up the phone, writing the email, going to an event, finding the person that wants it, and going after it each and every time. As I look here at Andrew, who has a document courier company called Carrie Norfolk, they deliver documents to from businesses to businesses or businesses to people. And as Andrew has a bad day, I look at him and I said, well, what did you do to get in front of that person today? Did you call them? Did you tell them that you're open for business? Did you do all these things? And he says, no. I said, well, if you want an action to happen, you have to create that action to happen. If you want a new client, you can't think that just because you have a pretty website out there, it's just going to happen. No, you need to find a way to get in front of that person and show them that you have what you have, because that's the only way it's going to happen. Maybe you ask for an introduction from someone else, but if you want an action to happen, you have to create that action. You don't need a website. It doesn't have to be super pretty. Look, picking up the phone and making it happen is far, or writing an email or communicating with someone is going to be far better than having a pretty website, spending $50,000 to find out, I don't know if this is going to work. Look, SEO is a long-term game. And guess what? The SEO experts might not tell you, but they may never make it work. You might spend $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month. It may never work. I recently just heard about a video that was deleted from some campus where they spray painted people, or they put pepper spray in people. It cost them $200,000. Guess what? Viral comes out, and the people started resharing this thing again, even though this campus spent $200,000 to try and get rid of it. SEO is expensive. Look, it works, but you don't know that it's ever going to work for you. There are other things that you can do, and best practices, instead of spending money, instead find the target customer and reach out to them and create relationships with them. Maybe you don't need a designer. Now I know what you're thinking. Zach, you have pretty slides, hats, looks great. I know, but it didn't always. And I did other things to try and get to this place where I am. I use things like Fiverr.com or Canva. Instead of paying someone, I would go to those things to just get by. And you know what? When you're trying to just get by, it works. Now, if you want things to be prettier, I get it. You can hire a designer, but it's not always the most effective thing. Same goes with a developer. I know what you're thinking. I don't know what they're doing anyway. But why do this if you don't have to? Don't do it. TV ads, don't tell my fiance I said this, but they're expensive and they can be very difficult to work. Sometimes these things cost anywhere from $2,500 to $100,000 a spot. You better be selling a crap ton of whatever your product is to make that happen. That's all I'm going to say on that. And on TV ads, how often are you just scrolling through the channels? Probably a lot. Same goes for Facebook ads. Yeah, you could spend $5 or $10 on it, but do you really know that's your target customer? I recommend going after and finding the one-to-one conversations with people. I mean, look at these ads. They're everywhere. Which one of those are you going to click? Probably not the perfect half-cut bras. You just aren't. You could spend a lot of money on email opt-ins and make them look pretty. You could spend a lot of money on clever copy. All these things cost money. And you know what? You might not have the money right now, or maybe you don't want to spend the money on it. Find the people and communicate with the people. All right. I want to hear from you guys one last time. All you have to do is click this link below. I just want to know what's going on. Is this valuable to you? Is this information really good? I hope so. We've spent a lot of time producing it, and I just want to make sure that it's good for you. All right, in 10 minutes, we're going to give you a couple of case studies. But first, I'm going to teach you guys how to network like a boss. And you know, boss, you can call it whatever. That's a picture of me. You'll see this in a second, maybe with the hair. It's funny. All right, so I believe networking is important, but I believe it's overrated at the same time. I believe that when you network, you should actually be qualifying the people that you communicate with. Why? Because I don't want you guys spending a lot of your time on things that will never become customers. Remember the business cards that we talked about earlier, the 2 buckets? Gonna be a client, probably never gonna be a client. Understand who you're talking to. If you're going through a meeting with someone that you know is never gonna be your client, you're likely not gonna go through those steps. Well, why wouldn't you actually curate that information beforehand to find out? Now, what I mean by this is don't wait to send a proposal to someone if you haven't sent them. Don't send a proposal to someone if you haven't discussed some of the things in it. By the time you get to sending a proposal to someone, you should basically have everything set already. They should know how much you cost, what they're going to get out of it, and basically it's just a written contract or a written statement saying, here's everything that we talked about, and they've already basically agreed to terms, right? Why do you do that? Because how much time does it take to put together a proposal? Even if it's 1 minute, it's not worth it if you don't know what's going to work and what doesn't. So make sure that when you are working with clients or working on anything, that you have had the conversations with people beforehand before you send them anything. All right, you like that hair on the bottom? It's so cute. I like to say funny words. But have conversations with people that are 10 minutes long. You can have so many more 10-minute phone calls with someone and not talk about kittens and babies and just talk about what their pain points and what they need, instead of just, you know, lollygagging around going, oh, how was your weekend? What's the weather? It's just not necessary. Instead, focus on your day, be efficient, and have 10-minute calls with people, 5-minute calls with people. You will be so much more beneficial. Tell you guys a couple of stories of people who've done the things that we've done. This is Ian. He created a business in a weekend. He had a pen and paper and said, who needs things delivered? Really similar to the things that Andrew has done. But he made $250 just by asking people what they wanted. He said, do you want Taco Bell delivered? Here's my number. I will deliver it to you later. Or do you need pen and paper? Or do you need an etch board, a whiteboard? By just going up to the people who are your target customer and saying, I'm open for business, I need your stuff, they know that you're open for business. This is Jeannie Fioca. She has a great cookie called the Cookie Text, cookie texting. This is carrylogistics.com. Just want to make sure I got that in there. And cookietext.com. Jeannie is great because the way that she gets her product out is she lets people try it. She knows that if she can get people to try her product, likely they're going to turn into customers. And I can tell you this, Her cookie is really good. It's not one of those cookies. It's like a homemade fresh cookie every single day. So she goes to different fairs, school fairs, and says, I'm going to give out the equivalent of 2 cookies. And I'm going to cut them up into little squares. I'm going to get people to try them. And then I'm going to have a specific piece of paper that says, call this number or go to this website. And once you order, I can track who that specific person came from. Then she can see directly that that person ordered it back. This is Jeremy. Jeremy has a marketing company. You can't see him, but he just gave me a hello. Jeremy has a marketing ad agency. Guess what? For 8 of the 10 years he's been in business, he didn't even have a website. Right. And I don't know if you could hear that. But what's really interesting about Jeremy is people come to him and say, yeah, I hear you're the right person to come to. And his response is always, well, you found me, didn't you? And they're like, well, let me see your website. And you know, he didn't have one for years. About 6 months ago, he actually finally made one. But the key is he just went after the people who needed him. He would listen. They would say some sort of trigger point to him, and then he'd go in for the kill. And I use that word because Jeremy is a hawk, and he likes to go in for the kill in these kind of cases. He can hear me. He's right behind me. Maybe we'll bring him on in a couple of minutes. But the key really is going after finding those people. And look, I know all the marketing people are telling you, oh, you got to do this and this. We're 180 degrees different than that. Just go out, bust your tail, and make things happen. You know who wants your product. You know exactly where to find them. I just gave you 10 ways. Ask your friends. Take an inventory. Reddit, Quora, Facebook groups, Twitter. There's a couple other things I can't even remember. There's all these places where you can go get it. Stop thinking that you have to have this beautiful, polished thing. No, give them what they want. And this is Eric. One of my favorite stories about Eric is that when he started his business, 8020.co, and actually Jeremy, johnrichmedia.com for Jeremy, and 8020.co, all accelerated by Hatch. What I want you to know about Eric is when he opened up his new business, he didn't sit around and wait for the phone to ring. He went through his inventory and said, this is exactly who I've met with. I'm letting them know that I'm open for business. He spent a couple $100 and wrote them letters and said, we're open for business. We are 80/20. This is what we can do for you. I'd love to work with you, and referrals are always helpful as well. He needed an action to happen, and guess what? He made that action happen. I say this a lot, if you want an action to happen, you have to create that action. Chip, I just got your text. I will examine right now. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on, sir. Chip says, I'm going to say this out loud before you read it. Chip says, how can we market to our employees so they become evangelists about our product or service? I think this is great. I think when hiring, Chip, you have to make sure that in that process, people love what you're doing. And I know it can be difficult, especially in your line of work, but I think you have to get them to maybe not love it originally, but make them fall into it. So tell the same stories that you tell your you tell your customers to acquire them that you do for the people who work for you. Tell them that you know exactly what the difference is that you're making, and hopefully that hits home to them. I know, for example, and maybe we should get off Eric when we're looking at this. Actually, we'll go to me. So, Chip, a great example I think is bringing in your company into the situation. So we have a small team, but when we communicate on big things, I like everyone to see it. And the reason I want to do that is because I want them to know that it's important that they understand how much I want it to be not about me. It's a team thing. So yesterday I found out I was a finalist for an award, and I want everyone to know that it's a team award, even though it might say Zack Miller on it. It's Zack Miller equals Hatch to me, and Hatch equals team, right? And so I think if you can get your team to believe in the same things that got your customers to acquire you, you're going to be on the right path. And so I think oftentimes people will neglect the team, neglect the staff, the employees, instead of bringing them in on the same things. The same reasons why you love it and the customers love you and your business, make sure that your staff and team understand that too, because that's what's going to keep them there. I remember, and I can't remember if this was with you, Chip, but for Hampton Roads Business Weekly, we did a show on kind of what employees are looking for. And one lady emailed me and said, you know what, at the end of the day, what matters most to me is that I get paid, not that I got taken out to lunch by my boss or anything like that. And so I think in this case too, ask them what they want, right? Is money the last thing that they want? You know, when we've surveyed our team and asked them what do they want, money wasn't the thing that they asked. There's a series of other things they want. But if you ask other people, they're going to give you different reasons. So the best way to get your team to engage is ask them what they want. What do they need to be the best? You know, maybe it could be as simple as this, is maybe your office hours are 9 to 5 and they really wish they would be 8:30 to 4:30. You know, and is that something that you can accommodate? Maybe they want once a week to have 2 hours off. I don't know what the answer is. It's very different per company. But I think the best way to find out what people are looking for is to ask. And if you don't ask, you will never find out. Hopefully that was helpful, Chip. And it's great to hear from you as well. All right, guys, I want to let you guys know about a little thing real quick to end this off. A little thing that we call 1004, which is an army of businesses collaborating and communicating together. What a pretty looking logo. A couple years ago, I was growing a company. I was looking for answers to my own problems. This is me. You'll never see me in a suit jacket again. Some people say I've lost weight. I think in this picture, it makes me look like I've lost weight. I sure hope so. As the people that are watching this in here, they shake their heads no. That's depressing. But I started going to the normal places to try and get the answers. You know where the normal places are. You would Google something, your scores of the world. I felt like the context was off. They either didn't get it right, they didn't give the right information, context is off. They just didn't get it. So I started hosting my own meetups. This was one of them. And I created my own resources. And what was great is that as I was figuring out my own the own solution to my problem, people kept asking me, how can I get this? I said, well, you can't. It's not available for you. This is, you know, I created this so that I had it. But it's really interesting when someone is asking for something and you don't know why, but you keep listening and you keep listening, and then maybe you figure out a way to do it. And so resources like how to social media, how to Facebook ad, how to email market, how to get investment. I've raised $196,000, 23 different investors. That's a lot of meetings with a lot of different people. And maybe even how to build apps. Apps are big in the day. And then companies started asking how to get access to these resources. Please help. But we couldn't do it. But eventually I said, maybe there's something there. So 1004 was born. Think of 1004 as an army of 1,000 businesses with an average of 4 employees each. Doesn't mean that all of them have 4 employees. Maybe they have 4,000 employees. Maybe they have 1 employee. That doesn't matter. The key is that it's all businesses working together and using similar resources to grow their business together. So 1004 is an online directory of step-by-step modules, workshops, guides, courses led by the people who are their experts in their respective fields. You can watch these on demand at any place, anytime. It's a gym for entrepreneurs. It's like Netflix for business. Now, when we provide this, you go to the gym, you get the treadmill, you get the free weights, but you still have to do the work. That's what 1004 is. And here's what you're not going to get here. You're not going to get the professor who's talking about starting a business who's never actually done it themselves. That's where we find the context is off. In entrepreneur world, for some reason, everyone's an expert and people listen. We believe that's wrong and that we are fighting to get people to not give out bad information who have never done before. I don't have a 1,000-person company. I'm not going to tell you how to create a 1,000-person company. If I've never done something, I'm not going to tell you. There's nothing worse than someone telling you, how do you raise money, and they've never raised money before. Again, I raised a couple $100,000, several investors to do that. Why would I tell you how to raise $10 million if I've never done it? I haven't done it. I know what I've done now. And that type of mindset, I think, is really important. No professors that haven't done it here. So you're going to get weekly expert workshops. All this is on demand, a collaborative mastermind group in a forum. You get exclusive content, and it's absolutely wonderful. We still use it for hats today, and we absolutely love it. You can head on over to 1004.com, 1004.com to check it out for more. And by the way, it's $2,500 worth of content every month for just $30 a month. And what's the catch? There is no catch. It's $30 a month. Cancel when you want. And here's the deal. We're going to give you right now 7 days for free if you go to 1004.com. And if you sign up right now, within the next hour, we're going to give you a bonus strategy call with me to do that. So there's literally no strings attached. You get 7 days for free. Cancel anytime within the 7 days. And then it's $30 a month every month. And you get a bonus strategy call with me, one-to-one, to talk about exactly what is keeping you up at night. What is keeping you up at night? And so all you have to do is sign up for within the hour to do that. And if you want to do that, all you have to do is go to 1004.com right now to get there. I thank you guys so much to be here. If you guys have other questions, all you have to do is head on over and email us or find us on social here. But to get the strategy call and 7 days free, head on over to 1004.com, 1004.com. Would love to have you. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. This has been an absolute blast, and we look forward to seeing you at 1004.com. Remember, 7 days for free, plus the strategy call with me if you sign up in the next hour. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. Chip, have a great day. Later, brother. 1004.com. Right out.